evening and welcome to another episode of Service to Humanity, a program sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to bring you up to date with its activities and that of its agencies. My name is Habiba Zakzak, your regular anchor. On this episode of the program, we shall bring you reports of a technical session held by stakeholders in the implementation of the National Social Investment Program for the purpose of assessing the progress made so far, the challenges encountered, and the way to proceed with greater efficiency. In another story, the Northeast Development Commission, one of the agencies under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, was in Yobe recently with relief materials for victims of insurgency. Details of this and other stories coming up after this short break. Please stay tuned.
Across the 6 geopolitical zones.
They should use this money for what it is meant for, graciously to take care of their family.
In 36 states and the FCT. Over 6.4 million of Nigerians poorest of the poor in about 1.3 million households receive conditional cash transfers of 5,000 naira monthly under the Household Upliftment Program of the federal government. Their joy knows no bound.
And the government very well because they did well for us.
It helped me to do any other thing, my family.
Reducing absolute poverty, promoting shared prosperity through the Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
Service to Humanity starts off with good news for social investment programs as the House of Representatives commences consideration of a bill to institutionalize social safety net programs. This and other news in our first segment, Management Diary. Keep watching.
A bill for an act to provide a legal framework for the national social investment programs for the assistance and empowerment of the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria has killed second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill is sponsored by the Speaker of the House, his deputy and 10 other members.
And the agricultural productivity of implementing.
Presenting the lead debate in the House, lawmaker Mansur Soro from Bauchi State, and who was a former focal person for the NSIP in Bauchi, says the social investment programs of this administration have had a positive impact on the lives of the poor and vulnerable.
Mr. Speaker, the present administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016 initiated the social investment programs, which is adjudged to be the largest social protection plans in the sub-Saharan Africa. Mr. Speaker, the positive impacts created by the implementation of SIPs in Nigeria remain unprecedented in the history of this country.
The bill also seeks to establish a source of funding that will institutionalize the social protection programs and guarantee their sustainable implementation.
The federal government today is squarely bearing the cost of founding the SIPs in Nigeria, even though the states and the local government councils that represent the second and the third tier of government happens to be the biggest beneficiaries. I believe the time has come for the states and indeed the local government councils to key in and complement the effort of the federal government in mobilizing resources for the funding of the SIPs. Consequently, this bill in Section 14, subsection A, proposed for the direct deduction of 15% aggregate of the value-added tax collected monthly for the purpose of funding these novel programs.
The bill killed second reading without debate and has been referred to the House Committee or Legislative Agenda for further work. The National Social Investment Management System (NASIMS) portal is a platform that will give Nigerians equal access to the social investment programs of the federal government.
who wants to do Empower.
Making this known in an interview, the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program says the management system is guaranteed to remove incidences of manipulation of the process as well as improve efficiency.
It is a platform. Every Nigerians have got equal access to it. You go to the portal, you give your details, and all what you know and what you can do at a hit of a button, it goes into the iteration and the selection process without necessarily knowing who is your name, where are you coming from, which language you speak. That's number one. Two, it enables all of our packages and clusters to be very, very well coordinated so that we do not have a duplication where one person is duplicating benefits from all the levels and shortchanging other Nigerians. So all the data are well coordinated so we can be able to see and pick out duplications and filter them. Three, it creates an opportunity to analyze things quicker because all the data is there with standard format and therefore the analysis will be standard again. Four, it gives you an opportunity to have a structured institutional memory. Once the management information system is open, it is going to be there in code forever and the data will not be lost.
NASIMS is the central management platform for the administration and coordination of social investment programs under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. It was formally launched on the 12th of March 2021 during the official flag-off of the batch C Empower registration. Recall that President Muhammadu Buhari gave approval for the expansion of the Empower beneficiary from 500,000 to 1 million in December 2020.
Glad to know you're still there. The National Social Investment Programs were launched by the Buhari administration in 2016 as a major strategy towards tackling the poverty problem in Nigeria. Because of the dynamism and complexities of the program, there is a need for periodic meetings by critical stakeholders in the implementation of this program to clearly define who is doing what and how best to go about meeting the target objective of lifting Nigerians out of poverty. In our next segment, we shall report the recent technical session organized by the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office for Stakeholders. Do stay tuned.
The National Social Safety Net Project's technical session with strategic federal stakeholders was organized by the Social Safety Net Coordinating Office, NASCO. In attendance were officers from the supervising ministry, being the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Other key stakeholders include Federal Ministry of Finance, Project Financial Monitoring Unit, International Economic Relations Department, Special Project Financial Management Department in the Office of the Accountant General, the National Cash Transfer Office, and the Empower. The technical sessions are basically held to socialize the delivery of social investment programs so that stakeholders can understand the roles and responsibilities across the three bodies of government for seamless implementation.
Discussion that will be fruitful towards the...
Welcoming the participants to the session, National Coordinator of NASCO explained that the sessions were supposed to hold at least twice a year because of the dynamism and complexities involved in the implementation and coordination of the social safety net programs.
It is not only a World Bank supported program with the facility over 5 years or 500 million. It is also managing, based on the judgment of the Swiss government, the Abacha repatriated loot of 321.5 million. This makes it a very high-risk program. From the point of view of the World Bank, from the point of view of the government, because government signed that agreement based on that judgment and the monies are managed herein. And so it becomes very important to have a more regular interface between those of us who are on a day-to-day level implementing and our principals from the Ministry of Humanitarian, from the Ministry of Finance, and then our colleagues providing financial management support from the Office of the Accountant General.
Goodwill messages were taken from stakeholders, both virtual and actual, where they urged full and honest participation while re-emphasizing the importance of such meetings.
I therefore congratulate not just those that conceive this laudable meeting, but those who will take it upon themselves to ensure that outcomes of this meeting will support active participation to reduce, in no small quantum, the effect of poverty and vulnerability on all age categories of the citizens. I therefore wish to appeal to all of us here to take it upon ourselves to actively contribute to this epoch meeting, which I believe will put in place a process to actualize these happily but attainable goals.
During the technical sessions, Mr. Yowa Apera gave a background to the commencement of the social safety nets programs, the design and implementation of the National Social Investment Programs, the mandate of the Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, while also giving an update on the National Social Register (NSR).
We have also set standards.
Explaining that the National Register project has been highly successful, he said the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadia Umar Farouk, has gone a step further by socializing the NSR amongst ministries, departments and agencies.
We have built standards and confidence that ensure that state governments like Lagos State, Kaduna State, and Anambra State has passed a resolution of the Executive Council of each state that all social intervention programs must mine from the social register all their beneficiaries. And so this is a huge milestone of the progress that we are making, and a huge milestone for our principals to be aware of. We have also the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has taken the torch of socializing the social register. She's taking it first to our colleagues, the minister that she hosted about 3 weeks ago, the ministerial dialogue on the National Social Register, bringing together all the ministers of the federal government to discuss the subject matter and having commitments from more than 9 of our colleagues to begin the use of the social register.
Mr. Apera's brief to the stakeholders expanded to include the need for a social register, differentiating between the National Social Register and beneficiary registers used in the implementation of the various social investment programs. Other stakeholders also had the opportunity to explain what their specific roles are in the implementation and seamless coordination of the social safety nets programs of the federal government.
We also monitor donor-funded projects and issuing of reports. Every year we have what we call audit monitoring. As accountant, we go on audit monitoring, we monitor the activities of funds released, we check their books, if they are in line with financial regulation, that is IFSA compliance. So that when we are writing financial report at the end of the year, they are in conformity with World Bank standard and financial regulations.
The session was interactive as the stakeholders deliberated on challenges and the best way to move forward.
The program is Service to Humanity. Just before the break, we took a report of the technical session held to review the implementation of the National Social Investment Programs. The conditional cash transfer is one of the components of this program, with a very wide scope of implementation across the country. Our crew was in the FCT to see how this monthly stipend of 5,000 Naira has improved their livelihoods. Let's take their stories.
For you to use and take care of your family.
The Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative of government involves the release of a monthly stipend of 5,000 Naira to the poorest and most vulnerable Nigerian households, mostly in rural communities. The objectives of the program include improve the household consumption that could improve the economy of the community, increase in utilization of health and nutrition services, improved school enrollment and attendance, improved environmental sanitation and management, improved finance and asset acquisition to ultimately enhance financial and economic inclusion. As at December 2020, the program operated in 33 states of the country and the FCT. About 1.42 million households with about 7.1 million individual household member beneficiaries have been enrolled. The program is also being implemented in 487 local government areas, 4,716 wards, and 37,628 communities across the nation.
We appreciate Baba Buhari and our association is peace. We appreciate Baba. Say Baba.
Kuje Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory is one of the benefited local governments.
You can manage this one, thank you. Come again next time.
Mrs. Rose Thomas Kainji is one of the beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer. She has established a charcoal selling business from the stipends she receives.
Before, I'm selling egg inside my house, just managing 5-10 crates. But by the time government introduced this money for us, I decided to add it with charcoal. So I can see the charcoal is moving well than the egg. That's why I decided to leave the egg and move with the charcoal. I started my charcoal business with 5 back, and now as you can see, my shop is filled. I don't even have space to add it, even though I would have added it. That's how it helped me a lot.
Rose says the money has been very useful in helping her meet her needs as well as set up her children.
This is our third year that we started collecting the money, and he really helped me and my family too. And he helped me in different ways that I cannot even say it. I have 4 children. And out of them, the other one is in school now. When he came back, I paid for his tailoring. He's going to learn tailor after he came back from school during break. So 2 of my children are benefiting. Out of the money, sometimes I used to send little to my mother in the village. She enjoyed it and she appreciates it. I told her I'm not working, nobody's government that is helping me with this little. That's why I'm giving her out to her. So it helped her a lot.
Her daughter who makes bags confesses that the money her mother receives has helped her to learn a trade and buy materials for making the bags, a trade she believes will help her when she goes back to school.
Okay, through the money the government are giving my mother, it helped me in buying some of the materials I use in making the bags. It can help. Maybe I can use the ones I've sewn at home. I can take it to school and sell, and with that I can get some of the money I need in buying some of my books and the rest.
Both mother and daughter say the conditional cash transfer is a blessing and they can't thank government enough. Hawa Shigali is yet another beneficiary of government's conditional cash transfer in Kuje. She has been on the scheme since 2019.
I've not been doing anything, and health-wise I was not even okay like that. It was at that time we started collecting this money. So we were able to save a little and treat myself. So when I get myself, I venture into learning my work. So I got this sewing machine then. With the money I was able to save from this program.
Hawa's business has grown and she can now support herself and her home.
No, by the time I make one for this person, before you know it, immediately they see it on that person. This person, please, who made this clothes for you? Before you know it, the person will bring to that. This person saw your handwork on me and liked it. So through people will start coming for me to make their clothes. So the patronage is okay, and I thank God. Without this program, I'll be wondering what we'll be eating, because my husband is not working now, and this is the work that is sustaining us. I don't even know what to say. I'm very happy, because it's through this money I was able to get this machine that I will be using to work, and we'll have something. Even my children, they will not even go to school safe. I have 2 children.
we are appreciating the minister. She has deemed it fit to see our inside but not outside. Out of disability there is ability, out of ability there is creativity.
I'm happy and I thank the ministry for coming here to assist us, and especially with the food stuff. May God bless all your staff and God bless Nigeria.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
Welcome back. One agency under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is the Northeast Development Commission. The commission recently delivered relief materials to victims of insurgency in Gaidam, Yobe State. Let's take a report of this activity.
Gaidam in Yobe State came under attack from insurgents about a month ago. According to news reports, about 2,000 residents were displaced and camped in Yunusari and Yusufari local government areas. Responding to the immediate needs of the people and calls for relief materials, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Northeast Development Commission, Muhammad Al-Kali, alongside the Chairperson, House Committee on Northeast Development Commission, Hajia Khadija Bukar Ibrahim, and other executive directors of the Commission, visited the Yobe State government to hand over relief materials for distribution to those displaced by the attack. While speaking during a brief ceremony to hand over the materials, the MD and CEO of NEDC commiserated with the government and people of Yobe State while describing the concern of all stakeholders, especially the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development was deeply concerned, and by extension, Mr. President, and immediately urged all the agencies that are involved in providing support provide support quickly to eliminate the suffering of the people before things can be done going forward. And we are urged to see what we can do in providing emergency items so that we can settle down before the bigger issue of security and other things can be settled.
Yobe State Governor Honorable May Malabuni was represented by Deputy Governor Alhaji Idi Gubana. He appreciated the efforts of the Northeast Development Commission and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for supporting them in various ways.
The Northeast Development Commission has been providing strong partnership with us in the post-presidency settlement, rehabilitation and construction drive of the state. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, through the State Emergency Management SEMA, is hereby directed to see that the items already reach the desired targets.
The Deputy Governor enjoined the general public to be prayerful to the state and the country at large. Items presented by the NEDC to the Yobe State government include 7,000 bags of rice, 1,500 gallons of vegetable oil, 1,500 cartons of tomato paste, 1,500 cartons of macaroni, 1,500 cartons of spaghetti, and 1,500 pieces of branded nylon mats. Others are 3,000 pieces of wrappers, 1,500 pieces of blankets, 1,500 pieces of children's wares, 125 cartons of hand sanitizers, and 1,500 pieces of face masks.
On that note, we end this episode of Service to Humanity. Join me same time next week for another exciting episode of the program. See you next week and have a good night.